Ahoy hoy gang, if this is your first time with us, welcome. If you're joining us from a previous video, hey, we love to see it and I hope you're doing well. It's season 9, the last full Fox season, and man, what a journey it is. Truly, we have got some of our hottest episodes to go through, some of our most controversial, but I promise on the other side, we're all going to love it. So grab a fork, perhaps a fine wine, because it's time to dine on Season 9! Number 5, Vision Impossible. Again, I just love good Roger episodes, and I think Vision Impossible is arguably one of the strongest Roger episodes out there. Like, he gets the ability to see into the future purely because of something that Roger would totally do. And the family becomes dependent on someone that has all of this knowledge and they can't trust themselves to make the right decisions without him. That's great. That's a fun idea. That's a very almost Twilight Zone concept, which we've seen before and we're going to see plenty of again. You know, the Golden Turd was not a one-off. They kept bringing it up and it kept being a very engaging element of the show. And to have Vision Impossible exist, to have the raccoon side story, Steve's side story with the weight equipment, and having it all tie into itself works. I love the safety museum bits. That felt like a proper, almost Family Guy opening. I could hear the Family Guy music as they walk into the safety museum, and they just go through each of the scenes. But that's fun in its own way. There is a charm to making those callbacks to like Family Guy style. There is a charm to balancing the two. We also get the return of Mind Quad, which is great. I don't know. I really like the fun of Vision Impossible. It's got charm. And Dr. Baby gets me for some reason. I can't explain why. It shouldn't. It's just Dr. Baby. It's like, bye-bye, bye-bye. But it gets me. I don't know. It makes me laugh. Sometimes a baby just going bye-bye is enough to make you laugh. We enjoy the small things here. Number 4, Independent Movie. I have seen some people hate this episode, and this is my $5 hot and ready opinion here, but I can absolutely see why they would. The B story of this episode is not great. I do not like the Roger and Stan gut feelings thing with Hideki. I think it's perfectly fine. It's okay. I honestly think it's a detriment to the episode as a whole because it takes away from the A story, because it takes away from that sepia-toned good stuff. I would have loved if the B story was like a Wall Street reference or like a Wolf of Wall Street reference where they're doing two different directing styles, two different animation styles or something. Instead we get, oh, they developed a cake cutter with their guts. That's so fine. That's okay, I guess. But the A story is so strong. I mean, the Lego sculpture of all the Howards, having Snot dealing with the loss of his dad, which is brought up throughout the rest of the series. You know, there's a lot of things here to appreciate. There's a lot of really great camera work, and remember, I went to school for television and film criticism, so seeing something that is a active parody of all the indie movies I've seen is great. It is, again, much like Blood Crieth Unto Heaven, it is not a surface level parody. They are making proper satire. I mean, they had Zooey Deschanel as their manic pixie fairy girl. That's amazing. That is such attention to detail, and she does brilliantly with it. You have to be so aware to make an A story like this. You have to come at it with a fully fleshed out idea. You can't just use cutaways to distract from the fact that it doesn't have any story. Because where Family Guy, those cutaways are the funniest parts of the episodes, they can't rely on those, otherwise they're called just a Family Guy clone. They have to stand on their own 2 feet. And Independent Movie, the A story, absolutely does. There is a lot to love to the episode, and I encourage everyone to at least give it a shot. Do not just sleep on it. Number 3, Faking Bad. And then we get something like Faking Bad that is just quintessential American dad. There's no extra fluff. There's no other creepy Twilight Zone ideas or, you know, everything sepia and independent movie references. No, this is just a good Haley, Steve, Stan adventure. Stan has to find who's making fake IDs, Haley is taking advantage of Steve's prowess at making fake IDs, and Roger is Kevin Ramage, who is just the best antagonist. I adore Kevin Ramage. When he's getting pushed around and then they slit his throat. It's great. It's great. It's good fun. It's also one of the few times we ever see, like, The Simpsons interact with him, even if it's just Bart laughing for a second. But it shows that it was never a show that was completely forgotten, and I appreciate that. I don't know. Faking Bad is just good, casual dad. It never complicates itself. It never tries to go too deep with it. You know exactly how things are going to turn out. There's no twist ending, and that's fine. It's fine to just have a good sit down, turn your brain off, and appreciate it. Not everything has to be something experimental, and yeah. No, I adore Faking Bad. I think it's got some of the best jokes, some of the best character ideas. Ramage is great, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Number 2, Minstrel Krampus. Minstrel Krampus is at that proverbial devil's crossroads of For Whom the Sleigh Bell Tolls and Hot Water. It is a perfect Christmas musical that heavily leans on Scott Grimes having a wonderful singing voice. I mean, if you've never seen the Orville, if you've never listened to his albums, you wouldn't know it, but Scott Grimes is actually a very talented musician. And so to hear him perform next to, you know, Charles Bradley, who sadly most new generations only know him as the guy that sings the Big Mouth intro, but he was a wonderful musician, and it's just, I don't know, I can gush about it all the time. But on top of that, you also have Jack making peace with Stan, and even becoming the new Krampus at the end of the episode, as they have a fight with the Santa from For Whom the Sleigh Bell Tolls. Not only is it consistent, not only is it building the story, not only is it building Stan's relationship with his dad, it also just has a ton of great musical numbers, beautiful animation. It is willing to go in a ton of different directions, other than just Merry Christmas, everybody, from your friends at American Dad, and stay tuned for the 10 o'clock news. They really put a ton into their Christmas episodes, and it ironically, and maybe it's because of the pun, they want them to be as evergreen as possible. They want, see, evergreen, like a pine tree. They always want them to be something that you can revisit at any point in the year and have some value to it. Minstrel Krampus, you don't have to watch it at Christmas time, but it's elevated if you do. 90 North, 0 West. Again, you don't have to watch it on Christmas, but it's better if you do. For Whom the Sleigh Bell Tolls. All of these newer age Santa ideas work so well as evergreen content because Santa is actually a fully fleshed out character and not just this, you know, personification of all things holly and jolly. He is an antagonist, and it's great to see him double-cross the Smiths, or, you know, have some maniacal scheme that he's been working towards. It adds that extra layer that you don't appreciate to American Dad. And number 1, News Glance with Genevieve Vance. There is just so much to love about News Glance with Genevieve Vance. I adore how it's the first example of Haley like really getting into journalism and spreading awareness about the causes that she truly cares about. On top of that, you've got this delightful like indie small attic studio that, again, it has so much attention to detail that makes it really, really sing. You've got Steve trying to hide away after a horrible sex ed class, and it just, every element plays out exactly how you would want it to, and it absolutely shines because of it. I know longest distance relationship should probably be number 1, but frankly, I'm not as huge a fan of it as I am News Glance. News Glance, I would argue, feels like a better potential season finale if you were never going to revisit Jeff again. If this was just, this is how we got canceled, this is where we went out on, I wouldn't have a problem with this episode. That is how solid it is. Now, obviously, barely even halfway through the series. Like, there's still tons of dadage to enjoy. But as far as, like, the end of the Fox era, this is American Dad at its sharpest on Fox, perfectly polished and ready for a new audience. This is how you send off American Dad with one really, really solid last season. And I genuinely love News Glance. I have revisited it time and time again, and between Josh Groban and TJ Miller, who, I mean, I still say beer water. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him party. I love that. I love that so much. It's just, the whole episode just makes me feel all warm inside. I could watch it on a loop. And there we have it. That was my top 5 of Season 9. What were your favorite episodes of Season 9? Anything you think I was right on, wrong on? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked what you saw, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And never forget to tell your friends we're out here. And make sure to join our patron and member group if you want to get this content early or any of our other content early and get your name featured on this wonderful list. Ooh! That's going to do it for Season 9, but don't be upset. We're going to come around the bend with Season 10. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay strong. Know that I will always believe in you. You got this, even if you just woke up this morning. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.